Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Nathan and currently I am driving my 2010 Mark 6 Golf GTI, which I absolutely adore. However, though, it could use some improvement, and in today's video I'm going to just do that by adding some modifications for just under $500. So let's get to it. And one of the first mods is actually here under the hood, and no, it's nothing to do with the engine, it's actually to do with the transmission. And this mod should come as no surprise because it actually is a short shifter. Now by default, the transmission shifts pretty well, but the throws are a bit too long for my liking, so what better way to improve that by adding a short shifter. So the shifter cable is actually under here, underneath the air intake. So what I'm gonna do is actually remove both the air intake and also the battery here, just so you guys can see better what I'm actually doing. With the air intake and battery box removed, I now have easy access right into here, which I need to now remove this stuff right here. So this one should just pop off like that. And then this one here, it's got like a little clip on it, so I'm just gonna lift it up. Another thing I'm gonna do is take off this bracket right here and replace the rubber bushings with upgraded aluminum ones. As you can see, these rubber bushings are looking a little bit tired, so now let's switch them out for the aluminum ones. Here is the old rubber bushing that I just removed, and then now here is a new aluminum bushing I'm going to install. So now on the inside of the vehicle, I have to actually lock the shifter apparently, so in order to do that I have to lift up the shifter boot bezel here and then pin it. With a plastic shifter bezel up here now, I have access to this, which looks a bit tattered to be honest. And then as you can see here on the shifter itself, there's a metal piece right here that's got a hole in it, and then on the bottom here there's also a hole there, so apparently I have to pin it. It has it secured now, so it shouldn't be able to move and stay in neutral. Okay, there we go, it finally came off. So just looking at a couple more pictures from the internet here is pretty easy to figure out what to do next. So basically there's just a little adapter here for these shifter cables, and then at the back here it says to install a weight, which I'll just install one of them. It did give you two, but I think one will be fine just to start. So right now I'm underneath the vehicle looking at what's called the dogbo mount, which is this that runs from the engine sort of transmission all the way to the front subframe here. And basically what I'm going to be doing is putting an insert right here on this bushing to help stiffen it a little bit more to hopefully improve performance. Now I believe it just goes in there like this, but I'm probably gonna have to use a rubber mallet to get it in place. So I'm gonna put it on with this big ring here. With the insert installed, we'll test it out later at the end of the video to see if it made a difference. Now the next modification is something that is to everyone's taste, I'm sure, and that of course is some exterior styling. Now I love the way this vehicle looks. It looks just fantastic by itself, but it could still use some improvements, I think. Now one of those things that could be changed here to make the vehicle look a little bit better is the side marker here. Now by default it's orange, and I don't like orange personally. I think compared to the rest of the color of the vehicle it just stands out like a sore thumb. So I'm going to replace that with a smoked lens, which I think would look a lot better. So here's the smoked lens here. So this one's actually LED, and unfortunately, having found out that the AliExpress version does not come with a built-in resistor, it will likely throw code, which I wouldn't be surprised. But anyways, I do think it looks a lot better compared to the orange one here. So let's swap it out. So my GTI doesn't have one of those little access ports right here that you can just remove a cover and get into the side marker light and also the fog light to replace that. So unfortunately, I'm gonna actually have to unscrew all these T25s just to get my hand in there, and that way I can pop it out. Now that I've undone two Torx screws here, I can actually get my hand in here, just barely, and pop this thing out. Ew, dirty. And there we go, it works. So now it's just a matter of taking this off. Yeah, there we go. It's now in. All right, that's already looking so much better with the smoked out lens right there for the side marker. But there's actually one more thing that you guys will never guess I'm gonna do to the car on the exterior. Guess? All right, well, you probably won't know, but it's actually this here. The turning indicator on the side mirror, that's gonna be also switched out to a sequential one. Now fortunately for this job, it's rather simple to change out this from that. All you need is a T10 and a flathead screwdriver. Trying to be extremely careful. This bottom part here, you can either use your fingers, or I'm going to use some pliers here just to make it a bit easier. Out with the old and in with the new. Now there's a couple modifications I want to do to the interior. The first one, of course, is switching out the head unit. Now this is the factory head unit, which comes equipped with the Dyna audio system, which sounds fantastic as it is. But the head unit here, it comes with Bluetooth music, which is great. But unfortunately, whenever I want to change music, I have to do it through my phone and not through the head unit, which is, I know, a first world problem, but I want to address it. And then yes, the sat nav is great as it is, but it is also outdated and kind of pointless because you have maps now from Google. So I definitely want to change that out here today for an Android Auto and Apple CarPlay head unit, which you can use the RCD 330, which is what I'm going to be using basically to replace this one. And then hopefully I can probably sell this old one here for a little bit of money and recoup some of the costs. So first let's put this down. And there's some plastic trim pieces right here we need to take off. Ooh, popped right off. There we go. Now this should just come right out. That's what it looks like at the back. Now there's this big connector here which I pulled, and then these three right here, and this one here at the bottom I think is for a backup camera, which this car does not come equipped with. Now it's time to put in the new one here, and it looks pretty much identical to the one I just took out. And what's nice about this one though is that look from the side, it's about half the size, at least here, compared to the old one, which is great. So a little bit of weight savings there as well. And then here at the back, the connectors here, just for that big one, and then just one right here for that smaller one. So I've got it all assembled here, and you'll probably notice this little thing, this little dongle. This is just for wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, because unfortunately, by default, you do have to plug it in, which I don't like that idea. I want it a bit more clean. I don't want cables, all that running through here. So I decided to buy one of these ones. It's kind of, well, I'd say semi-flush with the rest of the buttons here, so I quite like it. So now let's just see if it works. I think this is a lot safer now that I'm able to change songs either through the steering wheel controls or even on the display here rather than on my phone. So that being said, let's move on to the next item. I love the way this interior looks, and then you have some subtle things like the GTI logo right here embroidered on the headrests, which is great. But one thing that could really make these seats that much better is actually having a GTI logo right here, which I think they should have done for factory because they already have the indent right here. We're going to be installing this on the lever right here. Now when you open the door, you'll know for sure it's a GTI. All right, I figured we'll go for a quick test drive to see how well this new short shifter and all my other modifications have turned out. That's what you gotta do when you do these things, right? First thing I could tell when I started the car is how much more this sort of the body of the car was kind of vibrating a little bit more. But it's actually a lot smoother though when it started up. I mean, the whole car didn't just go like move quite a bit. It actually was pretty sturdy. And I've also replaced the engine mount and transmission mount, so I mean, there's nothing really much else to replace, honestly, on this vehicle. So now, let's just go for a quick test drive and see. Oh my goodness. That was really short. Wow, that is crazy different between the stock throws and this aftermarket short shifter. Wow, that is just, I can't believe it. I've never done anything like this in any of my other vehicles I've ever owned in my entire life. So this is the first short shifter, and my goodness, it's just amazing. And the vehicle itself too, changing between the gears is a lot smoother. I've noticed that too. Like before, it just felt a bit sloppy. The car just felt a little sloppy before, and now it's just, well, it's amazing. So anyways, I want to say thank you very much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and also consider subscribing so that way you don't miss any future videos like this and other car projects and car reviews on my channel. And if you want to do something like this to your vehicle, I highly recommend doing it. So until next time, take care. Bye now.